Hello! At the end of 1944, it was clear for everyone that World War II is coming to end and the Third Reich is doomed to fail. For all, well, there was last one person who thought otherwise. It was Hitler, of course. He still believed he can change the fate and turn the tables. He just launched two major offensive operations at the west, Operation Wacht am Rhein and then Operation Nordwind, but, surprise, they both failed. So he decided that he will try something on the east now. And that was the origin of the Operation Sonnenwende, known as in English as the Operation Solstice. One of the last German offensive attempts during World War II. Originally, Heinz Guderian, who was the mastermind of this operation, planned a big pincer attack from the north and from the south. His goal was to relieve the Festung Kustrin that defended against Soviets and to attack and destroy spearhead of the Soviet forces that just broke through the army Wisła and made their way on Berlin. But this ambitious plan had to be changed quickly, because Soviets launched another attack at Hungary and put capital of Hungary, Budapest, in danger. And because of that, all the forces that were planned to attack from the south were moved at Hungary to start the long battle for the capital of Hungary. So, thanks to this, Operation Solstice had to be changed. And now, German plan was very much smaller. Germans planned to help the Festung Alsenwalde and to cut off the supply roads for the Soviets that attacked at Pomerania. One of the major successes of Guderian was to convince Hitler to make a head of all this operation General Wenek, who was quite a good officer, and that's where the problems started. General Wenek, no matter how good he was, had a car crash soon after the operation started and couldn't command his men. German attack, even if fierce, was quickly halted by Soviets, and it resulted with the very fierce and bloody tank battle near the city of Stargard. And that's what game Stargard Solstice is about. It is a new war game released by the Three Crown Games, a Swedish wargame company, and I just received my copy. It is released in a Ziploc, like many games in the 90s. And today it's not a very popular way of packing games, I think, but I like it. Why? Because it takes much smaller space on my bookshelf. Yes, when you have a lot of war games, your space matters a lot. So, like I said, this game was released in Ziploc, so let's look what we have inside this Ziploc. Here is a cover illustration. I think it's pretty good, showing Soviet Katyushas firing on the German positions. We have Panzer IV destroyed here, and only a blank page there. And next we have a map. The major problem with Ziplocs is sometimes to take stuff out of Ziploc without damaging it. And map is pretty big, not very big, it's twice that size. I will try to put it all okay. Let's take a look on it. And you can see we have the entire Western Pomerania here. And I think I like the graphics. It is not very colorful. It is... but it makes me feel like I'm looking on a real staff map. It's not very flashy and so, but it's quite clear. I can see what kind of terrain we have here. It is interesting that the map uses all the original German names of these cities, because all this terrain that you can see on the map was Germany, but now it is Poland. So if you would come here and try to find any of these cities with this map, you might have a problem, because most of them have different names now. Some of them kept their names, their original names, like for example Stargard, but most of them have totally different names, sometimes bit similar to the German, sometimes totally different. So we have Stettin here, currently Szczecin, with Oder, currently Odra, and all these islands on the river. We have some boxes here and here, and also turn track. You can see that turn track is quite short. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 10 turns only. Not a very big number, I would say. I mean, I saw games that have about 20, 28 turns. But you can see that there is one turn takes more than 1 day. It has 19, 20 February, 21, 22 February, and so on and so on. So there is this is not a game when one turn takes 1 day. Alright, so that's when it comes to the board. Let's take a look on the counters next. We have 2 counter sheets. One with Germans and one with Soviets. There are also Poles. They took a small part of this battle. So there is First Army of Polish People Army, communist controlled Polish force, because there were 2 Polish armies fighting during World War II. One which was Polish force that fought on the west along with Western allies, and the Polish People's Army that fought on the east along with Soviets. We have Soviet armies. I think that yes, these are guards and these are regulars. And of course Germans with the SS units and regular units. There are also, I think there should be also some, I'm not sure, but I think there should be units from Volkssturm, from Festungs. I will need to check about it later. We also have some markers. These are for victory points, I believe. We have out of supply, out of command, pin, also air units. Fun fact is that you can see that on the German map, the German flags, there are white dots on the place of swastika. Well, there are some countries where using swastika, even in this way, is prohibited. So I think that's why we don't have swastikas here. Most of units have NATO icons, and armored units have vehicles icon. This is quite the same thing that GMT uses in their games, but well, they are using vehicle icons only for support units, while here we have vehicle icons for all armored units, and I think this is better. I like how it looks. And counters, are pretty good. You can see that the numbers are quite big. This is good too. There are different colors, and there are also some different colors for units. I think this is because this game uses activation mechanics, so this can be quite important. So let's take a look on the other side. So I think I like how this counters looks. I don't have I don't see any problems so far. Okay, and now next we have a rulebook. A rulebook looks pretty economic, I would say. No graphics, just plain text. Looks like made on with Word without any anything to make it looks unique. There are no graphics here, only text. So I think this can be problematic for the examples. Because when you place examples of the certain situations and the rule use, it is always good to have a graphics that shows what's really going on. It can be helpful. So there are some historical rules. This is historical notes, and this is good because I like when authors tell me why they are using such a rule and why how it is linked with the original historical situation. So that's good. Rulebook has 16 pages, and let me tell you one thing. Okay, there are 12 pages of the rules themselves. There is a setup and reinforcements, and some optional rules, and some designer notes. So 12 pages doesn't seem something very complicated, but well, I know that this can be deceiving, and I already saw games that have about 8, 6, 12 pages long rule books, and they took me sometimes a lot of time to understand what the hell is going on. Reminds me when I played Advanced Squad Leader Starter Kit for the first time, and well, it wasn't easy. But this game seems not to be very complicated so far. Alright, and finally we have something else here. Yes, we have 2 player aids. German and Soviet player aids, different player aid for each player, with reinforcements, terrain effect chart, combat result table, which is pretty small. You can see it uses 1d6. The sequence of play, combat units, and well, I think I would need a magnifying glass to use it. This is pretty small, and this let me show you closer. So how it that's how it looks, but if you place it on the board, on your table, well, I can read this without much problems, but reading this can be a problem. So that's how it looks, and that's everything we have inside the game. I think the fact that the game was released is cool because I'm not sure, but I don't think there was much games about Operation Sun and Wende. So this is good that we get a game about it, and I hope this game is cool, and I hope that it will give me a fun, because you know, it's always fun when you play a war game on the terrain you know, on the terrain when you actually were. And yes, I'm not living there. I live in the totally different part of Poland, but I've been there at Pomerania a few times because it was one of my best place to spend my summer vacations when I was a kid, and I've been there for some times. I spent some great times here, and it will be really fun to fight a war, fight a battle in this terrain. I think I might record some videos later about this game, showing you how the mechanics works, because I'm quite interested about it as well. Like I said, this game uses activation mechanics, which is not very popular among World War II games of this scale, I believe. Most of them uses typical I go, you go, I think, but this might be something different and something interesting too. So, thank you for watching now, and see you again.